Thanks, Scotty. So, as Scotty said, I'm Dave Aicken. I'm the CEO for the region of Magic Memories. Like Craig, I came to the industry about 3 years ago, so I've probably had 18 months more than him. And so therefore I'm an outsider as well. So I guess today is about our outside view of the inside as well. And Dave doing very much the same. So really today is just about our observations and learnings as we've travelled the world. For the last 3 years I have been in planes travelling all over the world and observing guests and our partners in some of the most amazing places. So this is just our idea. So we could be completely wrong with what we're talking about today, or we could be 100% right. But it's very much a conversation we want to have today. So if you've got observations along the way, feel free to throw up your hand and contribute, because the way we work is that we like to understand what other people are going through and how they're thinking and what they're experiencing. And through that process, we actually learn and get better ourselves. So again, my background is not from the industry, very much in the industry now, and hopefully we can share some insights and observations from our experience.
Yeah, my background is actually marketing and advertising. So I come from promotional advertising, sponsorship, funny sounds. So came into the industry by proxy of actually going out and building an entire software company to do everything I couldn't do in marketing to better engage the guests that we came across all the time. The people that needed the promos turn up and some experiences and stuff.
I'm going to give you this one. Your mic must have dropped down.
Yeah, right. Is this better? Yep, good.
It's more like Tom Jones.
It is, isn't it? Right, so yeah, coming through and actually trying to work out, I think I now have two mics. Let's just do that. Okay, let's try this again. Right, so coming in and actually trying to build a system that let us do what we tried to do in experiential advertising and actually say, well, it isn't loyalty, it isn't CRM, it isn't pure advertising, it's something else again. So actually we built that company since about 2008, 2010, and recently came to Magic Memories and they acquired Centric, which is a company that builds. So a lot of learnings there from the advertising industry, and a lot of learnings there from experiential marketing, tactical marketing, and so on. So hopefully we can have a little bit of flavour and have a fairly reasonable discussion around what we see coming down the pipe. We haven't done everything, we're looking into it. There's a lot of stuff we have done. All right, shall we jump in?
Yeah. So that's just a little taste of our business, and I think that when I first joined Magic Memories, the consistent conversation I had at that time was that print was dead. So as a photography company, our challenge was that print was going to die. And about that time, probably the most significant change was Kodak went into Chapter 11 in the US. So a company that didn't see the disruption that was occurring and actually went down the drain. So when we looked at it, we said, well, actually, the alternative to printing something is obviously digital. And then when we looked at digital, what does that represent? And it just represents some bits and bytes. Effectively, it doesn't make any difference to printing a photo to having a digital photo, because they're both commodities. Anyone's got a phone to take a photo. So anyway, actually, what's the next extension of that? What's the thing that is valuable, therefore, if you've got a digital print of something or a memory that's now no longer a piece of paper? It's about the connection of the person to the memory, and then it's an ongoing conversation with that person. So our business is now entirely focused on how to take not just a printed product, which we do still print lots of things and sell to people, but it's how we can actually extend that now and take it into a digital world that has relevance and meaning and actually can be accessed in a way that our guests want to. So in terms of our business, you look at, there's some numbers up there. We saw about 50 million guests around the world in the attractions that we partner with. So some of our attraction partners are Village Roadshow here on the Gold Coast and down in Sydney. Merlin Entertainments is a big partner of ours, so we're with them around the world. We launched just last week with the Orlando Eye, which Merlin launched in Orlando. a sea life and Madame Tussauds below that as well. Next month in London, we launch with Merlin with a new Shrek exhibition, or sorry, attraction. So when we look at it, our job is to fully integrate our way into our partner attractions and create the most immersive experience when the guests come through to get a photo, so that at the back end, we can actually sell them something that's actually relevant to their journey. So to do that, we actually start with the guest. We have to look at what the guest needs are, not what Merlin's needs are, or Village Roadshow needs are, or Central's needs are, or what our needs are. We've got to go to the guest and say what's relevant to the guest, because it's all about them, it's not about us. And that's really what this discussion is about today. Connecting the guest is about what we believe is the most fundamentally important thing that, as this industry will face in terms of disruption, like we face in terms of print to digital, because disruption is happening, and we're going to take you through some examples of where the disruption is coming from today. So here's some themes that we run as a business. So obviously, and Craig mentioned before, fun. What we do is create fun. We hopefully have fun. It's probably less fun at times. It's probably less fun right now. But fun's ultimately what we're in the business of. And associated with fun and is this word togetherness. And we like this word because it actually encompasses why people come to have fun. There's a study last year from a major tourism group that ranked, they went to families on vacations. And they ranked what are the most important things when you go and have a family vacation. Number one was togetherness. It had nothing to do with the actual experience and what they had, whether they went to a theme park, or whether they went to a show, or whether they went to a restaurant. The number one thing, 2/3 of respondents said the number one thing was togetherness. So there's something in this whole thing around when people travel or go to experience something together. The one thing they have is obviously time for, financially for, not everyone has got all the money in the world. So when you combine those two elements together, the most important thing that people now want is actually to be together and to share those experiences. And the things that are colliding today is that technology is obviously coming in a way that we've never experienced before in terms of how you can actually share those experiences. So in our business, it's all about smiles. We want to create the smiles because via the smile, you can capture it and you can relate that back to the experience you've had, and obviously you can share that and go back to that time and time again. So in our particular business, smile is number one, and you saw in our purpose is we make people smile. And that's such a fundamental part of who we are.
Yeah, and if we look at that, the other side of smiles is a happy guest is worth more. There's so much, and we're going to cover quite a lot today, that a happy guest is going to talk out, but a really unhappy guest, they're going to put out a lot of stuff as well. I'm sure we're all well across TripAdvisor and everything else. A happy guest is exactly what we need. They're almost your new marketing department. So a lot of stuff that we'll cover today is just some ideas and tools around how we can actually look at taking those smiles and actually turn them into a true value proposition. The other one at the end here is memories. One of the main things that I saw, especially coming to Magic Memories, is some of the value of what we create with bringing people together and giving them that experience as a family is something that's actually going to last long after some of those people aren't there anymore. So it's hardly a sales proposition, buy this photo because someone might not be here that's in it in a couple of years' time. But in 10 years' time, some of those photos that we captured, some of those memories we create, that's when they have their real value. It's quite a sobering thought. It's a big thing for us to be able to say, here's something that is so powerful and so emotional for people, and we're a facilitator of that. It's a big responsibility. So for us, bringing that together and everything through, yes, we've got the fun, but we've also got some lasting qualities there, which is really important to us.
So these are things that we believe for this particular industry are the tensions that sit out there that are now coming. They're either here or are coming really fast at us. So obviously the first one's technology. Smartphones, tablets, they're now ubiquitous. That's the form of communication that people now have in their back pockets or have in their purses. So the way in which we now start to talk and communicate has fundamentally shifted. We don't no longer, everyone's observed the classic restaurant cafe table with boyfriend, girlfriend on their phones, sort of talking backwards and forwards sort of thing, right? So that's a massive shift, and everyone knows about it. I think the key takeout from today is we're on the positive side of the wave. We're looking at the wave of opportunity. We're not looking at the tsunami that's going to come down crashing if we don't pay attention to these things. So very much we're on the positive side of this. So as we work through, obviously social is the next thing. So off the back of technology, this whole social sphere started to change significantly in terms of how people interact. who they interact with, who they start trusting. And in that space, you're starting to see some pretty big dynamic shifts in the way that people are interacting. That middle one there, I'm not sure whether many people know what that middle logo is there, that's Sino Weibo. So that's there to represent the change in the demographics of what's coming in. Again, Craig mentioned the Asian tour. The stat I saw the other day is that if you want to put the Chinese influence in context, the consumer spend inside China by 2020 will be in the order of $5.7 trillion. Now put that number into context, the US economy is about $18 trillion GDP, the Chinese economy is about 11, the Japanese economy is just over $4 trillion. So the actual consumer spend of the Chinese internal population would be the third largest country by GDP alone. So when you think about that number, forget about where they're going to go to. They have got that much spending power that they're out there and they're coming. So we've got to pay attention to that, and how do we pay attention to that? Well, that's for us to figure out. The generational change, the Red Bull generation. By 2020 again, this 2020 number's coming out a lot in research at the moment. It's only 5 years away, but kind of was talking to Dave this morning, it's almost like we've got a 2020 foresight, not 2020 hindsight, because by the time we get to 2020, it's too late. They've already arrived and they're here. So by 2020, the millennial generation will tip over 50% of the workforce. So just think about that as a concept. 50% of our workforce will be millennials. So does anyone in this room understand millennials? Oh, are you one? Oh. Chris understands. So we don't have a big understanding of this massive pool of people that are going to have the spending power in 5 years' time. So again, that's another shift we've got to pay attention to. And the last one is a taste, and the things in which we're experiencing. So MasterChef, My Kitchen Rule, they've created massive competitors to you guys, because kids no longer just want to go to a theme park or go to a go-kart track. They want to go to George's restaurant, the Press Club, and have dinner there, and they want to meet George. And I know that for a fact, because a mate of mine had his 8-year-old son, he said, where do you want to go? And go anywhere you want to for your 8th birthday. And he wanted to go to meet George and have dinner at his restaurant. And that's what it did. And George came out and met him, and it was the best birthday he ever had. So that's the shift, right? So you're no longer competing against the guy next door. And again, to Craig's point, the only reason that Village and Dreamworld should be talking together is because they're not competing against each other. They're competing against everything else that sits out there and gets the attention of the people you're trying to target. So when you put all these things together, there's all these tensions and things starting to collide that you may not necessarily think it's going to influence or impact me, but they are all here today, or they're coming really rapidly.
I think another place you see that is the ski industry is a really good example of where we're seeing a lot of this kind of change and catering to taste and catering to experience, because it's no longer just about a downhill, a chairlift and a ski run and selling overpriced food, and if you can get a coffee that vaguely resembles a coffee, well, that's good enough, take it. Now it has to be a proper latte when you're on the hills. It has to be available across the hill. And if you go to most of the ski resorts around, either North America or Europe and so on, you actually start to find 2-star Michelin restaurants, not just around the base of the hill, but actually up on the hills now too. And looking at how we can actually cater to the broader range of tastes for an entire family. So you've got the parents who are diversifying their tastes, maybe not being as extreme anymore. The Red Bull generation, they're coming through hard and fast, especially in the ski industry, so snowboarding and everything is starting to shake things up. The way that hills are having to actually look at, we're not just a ski resort, we're not just a winter resort, we're actually a full year resort, and we're going to put on music festivals and summer things and bring in mountain bike riding and everything else to say, all right, well, how do we actually operate 365 and cater for the full range of tastes of our guests, and how do we actually maximise the value there? And some of the guys over in the US are doing that incredibly well right now. Europe is still, streets ahead, but we'll show you a video in a second that actually shows you the coming together of togetherness, fun, technology, everything else in a really seamless way. That some of you may have seen the Epic Mix stuff. If you haven't, you need to know about it because it's here and it's coming, and I believe Val just bought a ski resort down in Australia. So what we're about to show you hopefully will trigger some ideas, and the depth of marketing and CRM prowess these guys are bringing is incredible. Before we jump forward though, just that right-hand picture, just a story. When Dave was looking for a photo of a hot dog online through Google, he couldn't find a hot dog. How many? About 4 or 5 pages scrolling to get a photo, an image of a hot dog.
There's now gastro dogs. So that thing there is a lobster dog, is it?
Yes, our favourite thing. It's the lobster dog.
So it's not a hot dog anymore, it's actually a lobster dog. So yeah, that's what's happening out there. If you haven't been paying attention, you better start, because the things are changing pretty rapidly out there.
Yeah, and don't forget your hipsters coming through. We now have to have cold pressed, drip fed coffee and all the rest of it. So, you know, we've got a bit to do. The other one that's in the middle that's worth a quick note is Periscope, that blue one kind of next to the side of Waymo between the Red Bull can. Has anyone seen the Periscope's press in the past couple of days? Yeah? Interesting, huh? So Periscope is a new product by Twitter. It's basically peer-to-peer streaming. So you can hold up a mobile phone, take video, and in real time stream it to anyone who's on your Twitter feed or anyone else who cares to be watching. We just had the massive boxing match. It was Merriweather and
Pacquiao.
Thank you, I always say that name wrong. But what was really interesting about it is that the promoters of that fight now are going after Twitter and the individuals who use Periscope to stream the fight live, because they reckon it hurt their profits so much through pay-per-view TV. So instead of people paying $100 to watch the fight, what they did, there was a guy in Spain with Periscope on his mobile phone on an Apple streaming his TV to 10,000 people around the world. And as the streams were going through, obviously Twitter was sort of trying to do the right thing without actually killing it and shutting down feeds as it happened. So they go around, and the more hearts that a feed got, the more they'd have to shut it down. So you had the entire viewership watching on going, stop liking this feed, we're going to lose it. What was really interesting was some of the feedback that people were giving, that they actually had a better time watching the crappy streaming of someone's mobile phone of a TV than they did watching their own TV, because they were in someone else's lounge room while they watched it. And you got to watch it in Spanish. So those kind of things coming through, and this app I think went to 1 million users in about a month. Right? So it's coming through hard and fast. It's from Twitter, and that's why we don't have a Twitter logo on the page, because actually we've had Twitter integrated into some of our stuff for years and no one's ever used it commercially. But they're doing some really new stuff. So it's really worth keeping an eye on all the news feeds and everything else out there for what's coming through. There's another one that came out literally from Tech Disrupt in the past couple of days. The feeds that I just started this morning, I think called Find. And it's actually a bit like Shazam. Has anyone heard that music sampling app? Hold it up to the radio, it tells you what song you're listening to. Yep. Now they're doing that for places. So you can stand in the middle of the city, wherever you are, hold up your phone and show it where you are. And it will bring up all the feeds from Expedia and all those other kind of places. And it just teamed up with Viator, one of TripAdvisor's companies. So you can stand in the middle of New York and just hold the phone around, and we'll pull up the details on the hotels and the restaurants and everything else, so you can book on the spot. Putting that in the middle of the attraction would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? So those kind of things are all coming through, so it's worth paying attention to the feeds out there. All right, this is the Vale video.
There have always been mountains, but it wasn't until someone came up with the idea to ride them that things really got interesting. Followed by the desire to build trails, high-speed lifts, mountain resorts, and vibrant base villages. Soon, the mountain wasn't just a mountain anymore. It was a playground, filled with energy and creative expression. Today, a new generation is taking it to new heights, and it's time the mountain evolved again. Introducing Epic Mix, the key to unlocking a new mountain experience. Epic Mix is an online and mobile app that captures your ski experience. It connects you with your friends and family on the mountain. It allows you to share your stories, achievements, and then some. It all starts with your season pass or lift ticket already enabled with RF technology. The Epic Pass, Summit Pass, Colorado Pass, Heavenly Pass, and Peaks lift ticket. They're all smarter than the common paper ticket. And once you buy one, you're in the mix. You're automatically part of the Epic Mix experience. When you get to a lift, you'll be scanned just as before with our easy scan process. No need to take your pass out of your pocket. No fumbling with your gloves. Just get on the lift and go. Then start riding. Make some powder turns. Hit the summit. Find a new favorite run. That's all you need to do. Epic Mix has done the rest. It records each of your lift rides, calculates your vertical feet skied, and tallies your epic ski days. And to see it all, you just need to access your account from your computer or mobile phone, and your stats, maps, and achievements that tell the story of your epic day or epic season will be waiting for you even for those under the age of 13, at the Epic Mix Kids site with its own privacy settings and features. But Epic Mix is more than just tracking vertical feet and a count of your ski days. It captures your experience by rewarding your special achievements and epic moments with Epic Mix pins. We've created pins for hundreds of milestones, special adventures, and unique accomplishments for each day, for each season, and for each resort. Each time you accomplish one, you unlock a new pin that's added to your collection. If you already use Facebook and Twitter, it's easy to share your Epic Mix pins and other achievements with friends and family by connecting your accounts with Epic Mix. When you earn a new pin, you don't need to write a tweet or Facebook status update yourself. You can set up your account to automatically update your social networks and instantly show your friends and family members your epic mountain adventures. We designed Epic Mix Mobile to go where you go. Just download the free Android or iPhone app or connect to the mobile website and have access to all your Mix information anytime. But it's not just about bragging or broadcasting. Epic Mix Mobile shows you which of your friends are on the mountain and where, gives you tools to message your friends and easily set up places to meet, and provides weather forecasts, traffic conditions, mountain updates, snow reports, and more. Skiing and riding have always been social experiences. Sharing stories with friends and family at the end of a great day has been part of the mountains since the very beginning. Now, Epic Mix brings that same tradition into the 21st century. With Epic Mix, the mountain is evolved once again. This season, you'll experience the mountain like never before.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure we've all got a marketing program that looks a lot like that. When you look at it, what's interesting about that is it's 7 resorts connected. Passes all work everywhere. It's got the same RFID technology that we're all wearing on our wrist today. Works with barcode. It connects so many different systems in bringing that thing together. It's so many marketing ideas. So I don't know if anyone saw the pins pop up through that and paid attention to that. Just being able to give people a pat on the back to say you're awesome means a lot to people. Making sure that they actually share it automatically if you want that to happen when it happens. So you don't have to do anything. You've just got the powder hound pin or whatever it is, or you've just skied another 10,000 vertical feet because somehow you're so rich you don't have to work. Those kind of things are great. A little bit of bragging rights. You know, it's a really powerful idea, and it costs you nothing to give someone a pat on the back. It's just a pin. It's just you did something great. But what's the difference between a ski lift and a water slide? It's nothing. You know, you went up and the fact that you got on and you went down and gave you some points and it gave you some vertical feet. It's just an algorithm sitting in the back. But it's really applicable to just about any attraction you could walk around. You could do it with pedometer walking around your neighbourhood. I went to the cafe and walked 57 vertical miles to get coffee. It all works, right? It's the same thing. They've just applied it really, really well. And actually some of the CRM stuff that these guys have done, you know, when they first started off with that program, they'd send out email messages to people at the end of the day, whatever they'd done. And they started off with maybe 1 template, and then they built it up to 5 templates. Now when they launch a new campaign, a new idea within their program, they start with 50 different email templates, all with dynamic content that will actually adjust to the taste of the person, what they know about them when they send it out. But it took a while to get there, so you know, baby steps is totally valid. But that's the kind of stuff that's coming to Australia.
I think that in terms of relevancy here, I mean, water slides could be go-kart tracks, you know, and it's not necessarily a pat on the back, you know, it could be the guy that crashed 8 times. You know, I was the slowest by, 10 minutes. So it doesn't matter what's going on, it's still a brag. You know, I'm the most useless go-kart driver in the world. In fact, I'm the most useless go-kart driver this month because here's a leaderboard against the most useless go-kart drivers. So it doesn't necessarily have to be positive, it can be really negative, and that's what happens in the social space. People are self-deprecating. So I guess where we talked about it a little bit earlier, but how we go about doing what we do is we always start back with the me. So in our case, it's the users, and we look at and use some tools that we've been trained in out of Stanford University, which our business has adopted, around this whole concept of human-centered design. So I guess if you ask the question, how can I go and do this stuff? Well, you actually already have all the tools available to you because you are sitting in businesses that have people walking in front of you every single day. So all you've got to do is step out in front of them and start asking them questions. and asking them questions that are not closed but open, and then you observe the way in which they answer, and through that you're going to start getting some insights, and you can then infer from those insights and observations. But effectively it's all there in front of you now, and that's what we do. We get in front of our guests, and I was telling Dave this morning a story that I had from one time when I went out and just done to one of our attractions and started talking to a guest. I was actually observing one of our guys selling to him, and you know, we've spent a lot of time as a business on our sustainable environmental sort of approach, because one of our most successful models is printing all the photos that we take and getting them out on sale so that when the guests come through we sell them photos. So therefore we've spent a lot of time and effort around the environmental sustainability part of our business to help you take care of what we don't sell and go through this whole chain to be able to recycle and make sure our inks that we use are fully recyclable, and seeing how far the closest recycling centre is so we can use them so we can reduce the carbon footprint, all that stuff. Spent years and loads of money developing it. So I watched this guy, as he was walking away, he says, "So what do you do with the photos?" He said it was a note, he wasn't going to buy. So what do you do with the photos? And he goes, "Oh," the guy goes, "We're going to recycle it." And he turned around and he goes, "You're going to recycle it?" I went, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, I'll buy it then." So I know it's pretty cool, our policy is working. So I went up to him and said, so you bought the photo, why did you buy the photo? And I was expecting to tick off a list of things around the environment policy. He goes, "Well, it's got my 2 daughters. I don't want my 2 daughters to be recycled." I went, what? So again, you couldn't sit around in a meeting room or a boardroom and try and plan for that. You have to go out and talk to people. Of course, we changed our policy to go to our guys when the parents are walking away, "Oh, don't recycle me, don't recycle." Just joking, but we should do it. So it's about, if you don't get out there, you don't learn, you don't understand, you can't evolve, you can't then figure out what matters to your guests. And I think the key thing is about make it easy for me. It's all about me as well. What matters to me? So what is the me I'm trying to actually engage, and what are the things that matter to that person? We start designing our businesses and even our industries to be able to get in front of what matters and understand what problems you're going to resolve. So down the end there, we've got what we think in terms of going into the what. And this is an example of a what in terms of if our purpose is to focus on the me, we're going to do that by going out and talking to guests. At the end is probably the biggest example we can see right now, not just disruption, but of a what that gets back to the me. And it's this whole shared economy. So Uber, Airbnb, these are things that are now all part of a lot of people's lives. And they're getting bigger. I think in the US, again, 2020, by the US, the shared economy in the US is going to be worth something like $335 billion. It's only started 2 or 3 years ago. So within, well within a decade, it's going to go from 0 to $335 billion. And there's another piece of research which is really interesting, which talks about, I think for over 50 years, a research company I work actually at a university in the US has asked the same question over 50 years. And it basically goes, do you trust people more today than you did yesterday, or less today than you did yesterday? Right now, it is at its lowest point ever. So right now, in our society, our level of trust to a one-on-one relationship is at the lowest point ever. However, you've got an industry that relies completely on trust that's growing to going to be $335 billion from 0. So what that's telling us is that it's going from the individual one-to-one trust relationship to the one-to-many. And now I'm going to trust, I'm not going to necessarily trust Dave's recommendation of where I'm going to eat my gastro lobster dog. I'm actually going to go and look at the 15 other people that might have, I don't even know who they are, but I can buy inference here that actually they've got quite high ratings because I've done this other piece. So now we're actually moving into a state where we're not actually having to rely on personal recommendations, even brands. People don't trust brands anymore. We're going to space, we're actually going to rely on the mass. So that's going from one-to-one to one to the mass. That's a fundamental shift in terms of as you think of how you apply it to your business. Dave again mentioned TripAdvisor before. TripAdvisor, people have been sued in the US by restaurants and hotels if they give a bad review. TripAdvisor is being sued for a whole bunch of reasons as well. So there's this really interesting dynamic going on in terms of who does have the power. There's an example of one hotel in the US that in their terms and conditions says if you give us a bad review on TripAdvisor, we'll charge $500 to your credit card. When news broke, guess what happened? Their TripAdvisor page got flooded. People were writing comments like, I sneezed in their lobby once and got charged $250 cleaning bill. As soon as that hit and this wave of the masses came back, and guess what happened? The policy got taken out. They took their $500 charge off. So again, that's the dynamics that's going on out there. You can't hide from it, you can't outsmart it. It's bigger than the individual, it's bigger than a company. There's just this wave of social activity, and to us, this is a really good example of sharing economy.
It also ease of use. So to stick on the sharing one, I think the billboard that we've got there for Airbnb is quite to the point. Feeling like you belong anyway. It's a really big thing, and I think for us as an industry, a theme that people feel they belong when they come back. Right, so it's their park, it's somewhere actually when they recognise that we know who they are, we know what they like, and we do something about it, make people feel a little bit special. I think this whole thing, you know, loyalty and collecting points, yeah, you can maybe redeem it for a broken toaster at some point in the future, that's lovely. But when you look at some of what airlines are doing and gold class lounges and all those kind of things where actually you get treated better than someone else, it's the best thing ever. Just to have that VIP lanyard actually makes all the difference. It makes you feel good even though it's just a piece of plastic. But if you actually take the effort to make people feel like they belong, there's a huge payoff there. And then you get your advocates. If you've ever, has anyone here used Uber? Anyone got onto it? Yeah, it's worth giving a go. The amazing thing with Uber, and especially in the States, if you travel with someone who uses Uber, it will drive you nuts because you'll never be allowed to get a taxi again. Even though you've just got out of the airport at San Fran and it's middle of the night and there's a taxi rank across the road, kind of where the back of the room is here, full of taxis, you'll be forced to wait up to 15 minutes to get your Uber to come through because it's better. Right? Getting that kind of loyalty and those kind of tribes would be fantastic for this industry. And whether you go to a track, a major resort, whatever it is, having people that care that much that they have to use your service and want to get people using it for you, with you, that's great. Right? It's kind of like for any of us who are Android phone users, when you bought your new Android however long ago and you showed it to your mate who's an Apple guy, and you get that really sad look from the other person. Anyone? Apple people, you probably really felt sorry for us. We all thought, what a maker. All that kind of stuff, it's awesome if we can actually try and encourage that kind of loyalty and that kind of passion, belonging. Right? The Uber example as well, making it easy, one touch. I press a button, you pick me up, that's great. They did that, get it really right. There's a big reason they're doing so well. Right? And actually, if you look at Uber, it's got nothing to do with taxis, it's a logistics algorithm. They're about to change so many industries. That's where that's starting to get really interesting. All right, let's see if we can. So part of this whole thing, let's kind of look at the systems that we've got available to us. I think a big thing here is a couple of themes. Listening. This whole thing of get out and talk to your guests. Not only do we have to talk to our guests and listen to them that way, which is one of the scariest things on earth to do, but actually start to use the various systems that our parks and our attractions have available to them. So being able to actually say, what has my ticketing system got to tell me? What have my ride system got to tell me? What have my POS system or my PMS system? What if we could integrate them? What if we could listen to all those systems at the same time and actually play nice together in the same sandpit? How much more could we actually collaborate? So when we hear that someone's done something or they've told us something, then we can actually go via our various systems, how should we respond to that person? Because all of us doing it in isolation, not the greatest plan on earth, especially given the technology that's available to us now. Almost everything's got an API at the back of it. So what if we can just hook things together and actually start to play nice together? It'd be a fundamental shift for us. So many things we could actually do and make really easy. So that's where we've got things like respond, respond in a really timely fashion, at the right moment, with the right message, for that person, where they are, when they are. So that little blue dot on the wall, that's a beacon. If anyone's up to date with beacon technology, it's coming through. And beacon technology is just another way of having someone else's phone actually be your engine to pick up that little ping that kind of acts as a lighthouse and just says, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. When your phone picks that up, it goes and checks with the cloud and you can actually send any message you want to that person's phone. Right? So I'm here, right now. What else have my system told me? Right, I should be sending you a lunch offer. Or I shouldn't be, because I know you've already bought something. Or I should be sending you a cross-promotion offer. And those things are so tunable that you can have it work within 5 centimetres or within 57 feet. You tell it what you want to do and how fast or how long a person needs to hang out for there before you bother to respond. That's just one system available to us. All these things are there. That last one, the personalised. Google's put out some really interesting stuff called Google Translate. I think it's going to be fundamental for this industry depending on how we use it. But literally, you can hold up your phone to any sign and translate it in real time from Russian to English, or English to Spanish, or German to Spanish. Not only that, you can have a conversation in real time and Google will listen to the guy speaking Spanish and the guy speaking German, or translate both ways during the conversation. What's that going to do for the way we interact with guests? You know, the way we hire bilingual staff. Everyone's now multilingual. That's interesting, yeah? Actually, if anyone wanted to put Google Translate on their phone and were really fast about it, you could even hold it up to that sign in Russian, and even though it's blurry, there's people in the front row, it will translate the sign in the right colour, in the right font, everything for you while you hold it up. It's just tools, and that's where it's getting interesting.
So there are real world applications around that as well. You know, this whole beacon technology and the ability to personalise. Walmart's put beacons throughout their entire network now. So as you walk around the store, it's telling you what you should be buying. It's just placing it, and so people walk around, it's telling you what, because it knows your spend habits. You know, if you're part of the program, it's telling you what you bought 3 months ago, it's telling you it's now on special. It tells you that you inquired about it via their website, and they say, hey, this thing's just dropped the price since you last looked at it. So these are the applications that are actually out there now in the real world that we've got to say, okay, how can we utilise these things? Come back to the point, so why does it matter? So I think, again, a clear message today is don't get overwhelmed by the technology, because you just come back to one fundamental thing. Go and talk to your guests and say, well, what matters to you? And therefore, how many of all these things that sit out there should I actually be thinking about and paying attention to, and delivering and using that to be able to deliver something to me? And a point Dave made, with Google, it's free. It translates free. You could do it tomorrow. You could give you guys, at the ticketing counter, Google Translate to start having a conversation with your next busload of Chinese visitors. It doesn't matter. So it's not we're not talking about $1 million spend yet anymore. This is all stuff that's out there. Most things are being developed now in terms of service where you pay a monthly subscription fee. If you don't like it, you can stop using it. Someone else has already thought about how to solve problems for you. You've got to just now understand what are the important problems, what are the problems that are matter to the people that you're actually seeing through your attraction.
All right, I know we're running short of time now because we've been wrapping it on for you. But I want to play you one more video, and it's really around collaboration, giving people the tools to actually interact with your content that they're creating with you, their content, and actually letting them do something interesting with it. So this is a collaboration between Madden Games, which is a gaming company that makes the NFL games and so on, Google, a bunch of agencies, all coming together to solve a common problem. Kind of interesting.
Wait. First, a little background. People haven't been playing Madden like they used to, even though the NFL is as popular as ever. We wanted to reach that massive audience of football fans and show them that Madden still got its swagger. No, not yet. Just a couple more details. Football season brings team loyalties to a boiling point, and while games unfold on this screen, the rivalries unfold on these. We wanted to add our voice to this conversation immediately as it happened, in a way that only Madden could. Okay. Now, we made the Giferator, the ultimate NFL GIF engine that sandwiches biting smack talk between slices of real Madden footage live as the action happens. Big plays, big scores, big wins. Relevant GIFs are generated as plays happened live for every game, every fan, all season long, and published in real-time ads everywhere fans would be looking for game content, targeted based on team loyalties. Then, we gave the keys to the internet and let users make their own GIFs. We gave fans a tool to talk about football and everything else in between.
Let's see what they come up with here.
Fans loved it. So did teams and players. And the press couldn't get enough. Real-time relevance, real-time rivalries, all season long.
Pretty big when you think about what's happening in the back of that. Actually using video games to replicate real plays in real time and turn into content for other people to do your marketing for you. Giving guys the tools in your attractions to actually create their own content, to smack talk the guy who just slid out on the go-kart track. That's kind of cool. lots of opportunity there, and tools will soon be free. We're going to jump through this one, I think, really quickly, because we talked about enabling customers to be your ambassadors, and I know we're running out of time. If you get all these things right, there's a whole other way to look at this. And me coming from a marketing background, it's exactly where I kind of look at it from, which is what about the brands? If you actually give the brands the tools to come together, either through your single attraction, or as Craig was making a point before, pull together and actually find all of the attractions similar to you to create enough market footprint with enough people coming through to give the brand something to actually sponsor and give people stuff to actually put the comms out there to have that positive brand association. There's a lot of money sitting out there. It's some really big things, and a lot of this stuff is universal. So our Coke example up there, we know Coke loves summer. Doesn't matter what language it's in. And being able to actually look at things and turn your attraction into a festival at different times, or use it in a different way, hugely valuable. Used to be involved in all the Havaiana stuff. That's 10,000 people or more in 5 different beaches around Australia on inflatable thongs at the same time to beat the Guinness Book of Records record that they set themselves the previous year. They do it every single year. Now, if they didn't have to go and actually get the insurance, the council regs, everything else, the traffic control, to go and do that all the different beaches, they could actually use some of your attractions to do that. It's kind of interesting to them.
I think the point around here is the relevance, and coming back to the go-kart analogy. You know, it's a crazy one. If you want to look at an industry and you want to get through part of your breakout session after lunch, is, you know, there's opportunities there. If you took, say, Formula One, and you went, well, who's a big sponsor for Formula One? Well, there's Red Bull. Why don't you, or could you, or how might you take that as an opportunity to say, actually, can we create an industry-wide, you know, status system, communication out through sharing, create the platform for a Red Bull to jump on board and create a whole bunch of marketing dollars that sit at the top of it and actually just promote go-karting as an experience and actually take it to the next level. So,
find the next Mark Webber, who's currently 4.5. Those kind of things, you want to jump on that early as a brand and bring it through. So that using that kind of infrastructure is really powerful.
And then there's the, and, you know, and also Craig mentioned about the whole event space, and this is, we see massive opportunities in terms of taking an underutilised or a non-utilised asset, i.e. say an example, theme park that's seasonal, and actually creating events that actually fill the park up when it's in its low season. But going to the big brands and offering them an opportunity because they want access to fun. These guys want to associate. So if you've created the connection with your guests and you've got a bit more information than anyone else has, and you can talk directly to those guests, well, the likes of Cokes and Red Bulls and Vodafone and whoever is it sitting out there, they have got truckloads of money sitting there to spend to be able to go directly to those consumers. And if you've created the environment, you've done all the heavy lifting, they'll come and join you. So, and we're doing bits and pieces of this at the moment. We're seeing it real hand, first hand. That's actually happening. We're attracting some big name sponsors to some of our attraction partners to be able to do exactly that, because we know about the demographic. We can communicate directly to that demographic. And more importantly, we can get an ROI because we see all the social activity that's going on. So we say, well, yeah, that's how much sharing went on, that's how many likes they got, this is the comments that went out, there's the status of that's happening. So that's all possible as well now.
All right, we'll wrap up, so we'll get off the stage. Right, our last minute. Just a couple of points of how we actually get into this and actually do it. So just some of our thoughts on how you might do this. First of all, bunny up. Actually collaborating with the various stakeholders and service providers and everything else that are already working with you. Actually go, what could we do together? What if we integrate our systems a little bit more? What if we just grabbed a cup of coffee and thought, what if? You know, I was talking to a guest and he thought he might like this, could we do it together? That kind of stuff is immensely powerful. So actually no one's going to do it by themselves, it's too big. Right? So actually collaborating, I think, is one of the major keys to come out of this thing. The ability to make some small bets. So find the toolkits, whatever it might be, free tools like Google Translate or whatever else, to actually try things cheaply and often. If it fails, great, you probably learned something. Just don't fail too publicly. Or if you do, only for a few people. And hopefully it's not a TripAdvisor person. But
just soon.
Exactly. $500. Right, so make those small bets, try things. If you could try something every other day, it'd be a really interesting little world. By the end of the year, you'll come up with some really key insights, and then you can invest in something that actually you know is going to drive some results. So prototyping, all those kind of things. And the immortal words of Nike, just do it, just start. Actually have a crack.
I think so. So basically, I mean, really all we're talking about is one really simple principle here, and it's good old-fashioned customer service. You know, we can joke about assuming people give us bad TripAdvisor comments, but reality is you've obviously pissed them off in some way. So make amends for that and actually just focus on customer service. So all we're talking about here is that the old-fashioned is actually now something very new, and we've all got to understand the landscape that we now sit and play in. That things have shifted to a point where the old-fashioned way of doing it is still valid. So good service, respect, good value for money, all the things that make you very successful today. It's just that what's happening now is that it's actually evolving into a different space. And our job collectively is to understand what space it's evolving to and start redefining our own business practices, our own marketing, the way we actually want to pitch and position ourselves in the various markets that we sit in. But effectively, it's still the same thing. So we're really just talking about humans having human needs, doing human things, and all we do now is just find some technology out that actually makes that process a lot simpler, a lot more intuitive, talks in a way that's relevant to the people we're trying to talk to. So you don't get overwhelmed by the technology, it's there to help us. It's just the fact that we've actually got to start paying attention to the people because they have got voices, and they've got voices bigger than we've ever seen before. So that's really the key thing from our takeout from tonight. So,
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve and Dave. I tell you what, get your conversation started and your collaboration started a little bit later. Here you go. From August, a couple of goodies there. Thank you very much, everybody.